And here we are in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. I'm on the banks of the Tongle Sap, not sure if that's the correct pronunciation, Tongle Sap River, and it's not the most picturesque. As you can see, pretty brown and nasty, but down there, it joins the Mekong River, which winds its way quite a long way through Southeast Asia. And as you can see, it's just a big old river with a massive building up the end there. The little that I've seen so far, Phnom Penh's relatively tidy and orderly city, apart from the area that I'm staying in, but I'll get back to that later on. That was a bit of a stuff up, but for some reason I had this preconceived notion that Phnom Penh was just going to be a madhouse, and it's not at all. Maybe it's because Cambodia is the poorest country in Southeast Asia, but compared to Indonesia, Phnom Penh is not a bad place to be. I don't know if there's that much to do or see here. I'm only here for a couple of days, but anyway, let's have a look around. Just walking along the riverbanks on the way to downtown, and come across this pretty flash building there in behind, and it's actually a monastery. So the monks live pretty good in Phnom Penh. So this dude here, he's obviously the head monk. This is the road. There's some sort of statue across the road, probably some war statue. There's the river that we're just walking down beside. Heaved down with rain this morning, so didn't get out of the hotel till about 2 o'clock. That's okay, because I had food poisoning last night. I'll get to that, but it's trying very hard to rain again, and I have no doubt that it will at some time. One weird thing about Phnom Penh that struck me so far is the tall buildings seem to be scattered all over the place. One here, one there. Across the river there, it's probably a hotel. And then, okay, there's a little cluster down there, but they all seem to be spread out, which I don't know if that's some sort of planning glitch or... Anyway, it's just unlike most cities where all the multi-story buildings are grouped together, not in Phnom Penh. This sort of promenade or boardwalk down beside the riverbanks is quite nice. Be a lot nicer if it was sunny, but anyway. Something to do in the afternoon, go for a walk along the river. Probably something that most people aren't aware of is that Cambodia has a royal family, but they are elected. They're not born, so although they do have to be a certain bloodline. And in behind me is the Royal Palace Park. It's a nice little park in front of the Royal Palace, which is in behind that entrance building there. I'm not sure if you can actually go into the Royal Palace like Buckingham Palace and that sort of thing, but let's see if we can get a closer look.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
How are you? Yeah, you need long pants for the palace.
Okay. So a guy was just telling me I need long pants for the palace, so you can go in, but palace malice. She's a big old compound stretching all the way from there all the way up there. Seems like they need their fair share of space, these royals. The road around the palace is closed off. Don't know if that's for security reasons. People just rollerblading and hanging out around the palace, as you do. And tourists like me being annoying, because tourists are generally annoying, aren't we? So I dare say that's the CBD in behind me. I'm sort of walking in that general direction, but no real point walking down to have a look at a whole lot of office buildings. So let's head back along the river. So it's trying pretty hard to rain again, and I think it's going to succeed sometime soon. But anyway, as I referred to before, didn't have a great start to my visit to Phnom Penh. Oh, sorry, Phnom. I don't even know how to say it. Phnom Penh last night. After having a good old chinwag to me old mate Chad on the phone for half an hour, I headed out to get some food, and I'd only been out for 5 minutes and I started to get a funny feeling in the old tum-tum. So I raced back to the hotel room where I experienced, I don't think I've ever actually had it before myself, but it was firing out of both ends, and I'm just glad that there was a oh, here comes the rain. I'm miles away from the hotel. I'm just glad that there was a rubbish bin with a plastic liner in the bathroom. So diarrhea and power vomiting at the same time. I'm not sure what I ate, because I didn't really eat that much yesterday, but whatever it was, spent the next 12 hours in bed. Felt okay this morning. The good news is I can take fluids on, which is great, but it's 3:30 in the afternoon and the stomach's still not okay to eat anything. The idea of sitting down to a nice hot meal at the moment is heaven, but I'm not sure it's going to be happening today. So this is the area where I've ended up staying by default. As you can see, it's not the most salubrious part of town. The reason that I ended up here was because I just found the hotel area on the map, and it was next to the river, seemed pretty central, and I thought, well, I'll just aim for that. And as is often the case, I got into town and I was knackered after a long day of riding, and I chose a hotel that I've probably paid the most for so far, 67 Kiwi a night. It's shit value for money. As usual, the staff are lovely, so the blame falls on the leadership. The breakfast this morning was inedible. I didn't have a breakfast yesterday because of the food poisoning. I won't be giving them a review, but check this out. She's pretty grimy around here. I'd say these are more local markets than tourist markets. It's pretty rough and ready. So that said, the grimy part of Phnom Penh is only quite small, so it's a bit of bad luck and bad planning on my part, but I ended up there for a few nights. I was down for 24 hours with food poisoning, as I've said, so anywho, that's how it goes sometimes. But outside of that grimy little quarter, as I've said before, Phnom Penh is surprisingly tidy, surprisingly orderly. Maybe it's just that the most famous attractions aren't really down my alleyway. So the number one is probably the Genocide Museum. I'm not really into war museums anymore. I've seen my fair share. Everything from the Atomic Bomb Museum in Nagasaki to the Vietnam War and even World War II museums. They're just too depressing. So war museums are out, and you can also go out to the killing fields where they slaughtered tens or hundreds of thousands of people. Cross that off the list. Then you've got the Royal Palace, which is very impressive, but not a big fan of monarchies and the whole royal system, so that's out the door. You can also go on a river cruise, but the river doesn't seem that appealing. It's big and wide and dirty, and there's nothing along the river banks, no cafes or things like that. There's a few famous temples to go and see, and having been in Southeast Asia for 3-ish months, I'm sort of templed out. And then there's the famous central markets where they sell all the fake gear and that sort of thing. So yeah, not saying Phnom Penh is a bad place. It's actually exceeded my expectations. Like I said before, I thought it would be a madhouse with chickens on the back of trucks and dirt roads. And watching a video this morning saying that Indonesia is the largest economy in Southeast Asia. Well, it's certainly at the bottom of living standards as far as I can tell. Cambodia's way ahead of it, so well done Cambodia. There's an impressive looking building going up there. New hotel or office block, no doubt. So, not being a shopper, I was going to skip the old central markets because it's the same as every single other market in every other part of the world, or certainly Southeast Asia. But I'm very glad I came because of the building that it's in. Check this out. It's pretty amazing. It looks like an old train station or something, but it was actually built and designed as a market. First opened in 1937, designed by a French architect, and still used to this day. The building's worth a look, even if all the stuff they're selling isn't. I'll put this picture up as an external view, and you can see that it's a spider-like design with its branches off or its arms off each side. It's very cool. Here's a view of one of the branches, or the wings, whatever you want to call it. There's stalls on the outside as well, which just look like all the other markets, but this building gives it a point of difference, and yeah, makes it very interesting. So I guess my summary for Phnom Penh would be this: if you haven't spent much time in Southeast Asia and crazy, noisy, bustling cities are your thing, then give it a go. If things like the Genocide Museum and the river cruise and the Royal Palace, all very valid things to come and see, then check it out. But bang for buck, if you've got limited time and limited money like most of us have, then I would go to somewhere like Bangkok or Hanoi, even Kuala Lumpur, although Kuala Lumpur is a first world city. It's not as big and crazy as say Bangkok or Phnom Penh, but yeah, not a bad place, but it's not a must-do either. Alrighty, we're here at the Wat Nom Historical Park, Pagoda, and sure enough, it was the princely sum of $1 to get in, but for foreigners only, and I fully support that. User pays, and the money can be put towards the maintenance of the site for everyone. So let's go check it out. Beautiful entranceway. Up the stairs we go. Stray dog. Hey dog. He looks pretty healthy for a stray. So here we are at the top. Not too big a climb up the stairs. We've got the temple and the pagoda in behind. Here's the big old pagoda in behind. She's a big one. Old sun's coming out as well. So you go up the steps to get to the pagoda, and you can go down the pathway around the circumference of the pagoda, which is a lovely bricked pathway in the shade, which is always appreciated in Southeast Asia. Just a quick shout out to my old mucker Steve McHugh, who I've just had a Good long chinwag with, about half an hour or so, and he tells me he's getting a 65-inch projector screen for his boat to watch Two Wheels to Everywhere on. So Two Wheels to Everywhere on the big screen. Cheers, Steve-o. Hello. She didn't seem too happy about the state of affairs. Can't please everyone. And here we are, back at the entrance. Alright, that's the historical pagoda in central Phnom Penh. Hope you enjoyed that. So, as you can see, if you're not staying in the scungy, backpackery, hospo part of Phnom Penh like I am, there's actually some pretty nice parts of town. I've just chanced across a little market side street with everything from clothes to fruit. Let's go check it out. Generally don't purchase at these places, but it's all very interesting. You've got your shorts and your socks and your all sorts going on. People giving you funny looks because you're walking around talking to a cell phone, but that's okay. You're just a silly foreigner anyway. There's a wall at the end here, I hope I can get out. Uh-oh, dead end. Oh no, here we go. Here's the exit. Freedom! So last night in Phnom Penh, but first night out of the hotel. First night I was here, I was doubled over the toilet. I was either sitting on the toilet or vomiting into it, and I couldn't eat anything for the next 36 hours. So I spent the second night in the hotel as well. But anyway, we're down by the riverside exploring the nightlife. We'll go and find something to eat. Even though the river's not very picturesque by day, it's not actually too bad by night with the lights along the riverbanks. There's some cruise boats coming down the river. And you can see the lights from the shops and the hotels. There's a big sign. There's the big hotel down by the river mouth. And here's the shops and restaurants on the side of the road. So as we put the river behind us and move into the Hospo district, we can see my hotel on the left here. That's where I'm staying. It's called the Phnom Hotel Riverside. Not a bad place, but not the greatest either, especially for $67 a night. So this is the Hospo area, and sort of the Hospo backpacking area. Probably a bit of red light action in there as well. There's places like the Gastro Pub that cater to foreigners, and then you've got all sorts of other places around the joint. So it's all very colourful and set up for foreigners, and you can just take your pick if you want to have Western food or Cambodian food, what you want to get up to. Like the sign says, Phnom Penh nightlife. It's actually a little bit scody and grotty, but it is the backpack sort of backpack hospo red light district. Given this is my first dinner in 3 days, I'm taking it a bit conservative and sticking with the salmon pasta and a cold beer. That's dinner for tonight. That's washing it down, and hopefully that won't upset the old tum-tum too much. And that was it. Pasta wasn't too bad. Stomach's not 100% yet, but it's 95% there, so we're all good. And that's the end of the night.